Everybody needs good neighbors with a little understanding. You can find the perfect blend. Neighbors.
Tonight we're going to hear about how the gardens are growing.
For one another.
Jennifer, I want to start with you. Things are growing out at Selby Gardens in a lot of ways.
Yes, they are.
Adding 50,000 square feet of free public access.
But with any growth, there is going to be that sort of NIMBY, not in my backyard kind of thing with construction and growth. And Martin, you don't live very far away. NIMBY, not in my backyard.
Well, it's funny she should mention 50,000 square feet because actually the Sky Garden, which is a laughable name for a multi-story car park, is actually bigger than the White House. By square feet. So
and that's where this is going to be.
This monstrosity
right
here, this
okay.
thing here that dominates, throws light and noise out over a whole neighborhood. What we've got here, and we'll talk about it later, we're imposing the ambition of a new CEO. Who's just recently, I haven't finished yet.
I would beg to differ, Bill.
I haven't finished.
You know what?
I haven't finished.
We got to take a break. Hold on a second. If I have to get my whistle and my striped shirt, we're going to get through this, and it's going to be good. And our conversation on the growth at Selby Gardens is going to continue right now.
So this plan mitigates all of those challenges and at the same time gives 50,000 square feet of free public access to the community and adds 50% more walkable garden within the 15-acre footprint.
So it's a plus, plus, plus from the Selby point of view.
Yes, it is.
You don't see this as a good thing for the city.
Look, for a start, we constantly be talking about the who and not the what, and we have to be talking about the what. 41 is the barrier. It is the thing that stops neighborhoods from becoming part of the city. That's the line.
41 that goes
that's
right
41,
down.
and then that's where they want to abut. And the truth is, that is a residential neighborhood behind them. There's tremendous impact on those people. Imagine somebody moving into your neighborhood and coming and slapping your back and chatting you up and telling you, but we have a few parties here and there. And next minute, they had a permit last week. 100 decibels. Do you know how loud 100 decibels is? It's a jumbo jet. It's a jackhammer. And how is that a reasonable thing? We got 486
So what was the permit for?
So they could have an event and make have loud music. And the thing is that this is a
but
commercial
I'm sure
operation.
That's permitted through the
city's maximum
city,
is 65. How they got 100, I don't know. You know, the city's been bending over backwards so far. They're all going to have to see chiropractors. It makes no sense to me.
Would you at least go along with the fact that the Selby Gardens being here in Sarasota is a positive thing? It's a jewel for our community.
It's a good thing. And that's the shiny object that they keep talking about. And nobody is talking about Selby Gardens as being a bad thing. What we're talking about is 486 cars in a multi-story car park coming out onto a street in a residential neighborhood that would mathematically take 2 hours to clear.
It's a U.S. highway.
No.
Yes,
Where they're
Yes,
sending
it
the
is.
cars out onto only has a matter of a few yards before you get 2 lights. Each of those lights is stationary for 50% of the time. The math just doesn't work.
I'll ask a rhetorical question here, Martin. Isn't that a good thing to keep this around for future generations?
It's not going anywhere. That smoke and mirrors is the same game as the orchestra tried to play with Payne Park. The bottom line is very simple. They want to put an 80-foot restaurant on stilts for Michael Klauber so that you get a bay view. You don't have to. I'm not finished.
Is that necessarily a
it's
bad
not,
thing?
No, yes, it is, because here's the thing. They don't need to be 80 feet high. No other car park is 80 feet high that has that number of spaces. The only reason it's 80 feet high is because that gets you above the trees and gets you a bay view.
Martin, it seems to me like your main spanner in the works here is that parking deck, that monstrosity that you're calling it.
Because that is the thing that's going to disturb the neighbors. You know, the idea that they're going to have a rooftop restaurant and they're going to be as quiet as mice. The people are going to be drinking there. They've got a roof terrace, and they're going to be having a good time, and that's fine.
Aren't cars in the overflow parking that are into the neighborhoods more of a distraction and a
hollering
danger?
and clinking glasses and playing music at 11 o'clock at night. Nobody's at the gardens at that kind of time. I mean, the fact is, this is a noisy neighbor situation. You know, it's very frenetic, very upsetting for people.
I'd like to note that P.F. Chang's is literally right down the block.
It's on the other side of 41.
No, it's...
Is your problem with the fact that there are events and things going on
Because
here
it'll
that
be
are
expanded. This is an expansion, and quite rightly. And they make the point, but they sort of dodge around it. They talk about sustainability. This is about money. This is about them wanting.
Isn't money
everything?
sustainable?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every nonprofit needs to be able to generate diversified revenue streams to be
So instead of
sustainable.
doing fundraisers at various times of the year, you've got an ongoing enterprise.
But not at the
You need
expense of other people.
You need diversified.
Try and wrap up our conversation about the growing gardens in Sarasota, Selby Gardens, the Martin Hyde. Martin, you're not a big fan of this growth plan here, are you?
I'm not against growth. I'm not against Selby Gardens. What I'm against is a slippery slope. We have a comprehensive plan for a reason. They say that it's not urban sprawl and it's their private land, and it is theirs up to a point, except what they're asking for is a breach of the comprehensive plan. Once that's allowed there, anybody else under Bert Harris, which is the state precedent, will be able to go and say they got it there, we'll have it here. So anybody that's sanguine about it and says, well, yeah, I love Selby Gardens, I don't mind having it there, it doesn't impact me, I don't live there, recognize and wait until the day that someone knocks down a house next to you and builds an 83-foot something.
And
that will happen.
That is the worst case scenario of a slippery slope.
It's
Certainly.
an inevitability. It's Fort Lauderdale.
And Martin, you're sitting there. That's going to be the big date
It's
when
going to
this
be
is.
a big night out. You know, it's like the West Side Story. You got the greens for the Selby, you got the yellows for the neighborhood. It's quite a show. I suggest anybody that has an interest should turn up at City Hall. It's going to be a long day, and there's going to be a lot of information, and people should make a judgment based on the facts and not on the who. And really, that's all we're talking about.
And Martin, you're gonna be there.
Oh, I'll be there. There are lots of people who'll be there. This is a good thing. Sarasota is a great place for that.
Absolutely.
People participate.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter in some sense whether we agree or we get our own way. This is a great city because of that.
And we will get even greater as we move toward finding out what happens out here, right off of US 41. Thank you both for coming in. Appreciate your time this evening. Both Jennifer Romanicki and Martin Hyde. Appreciate them joining.
With a little understanding, you can find the perfect blend.